Okay, so today we're going to talk about a place in Surat, India that seriously has a double life. By day, Dumas Beach is just a normal beach. Families, picnics, the whole thing. But when the sun goes down, it becomes a place with one single, terrifying rule that you do not want to break. Let's get into it. For generations, this is the warning you'd hear from the local elders, passed down in Gujarati. It's not just some old spooky story they tell kids. For a lot of people, this is a genuine command for survival if you find yourself on those shores after dark. So what does it actually say? And there it is. So simple, so direct, and honestly, absolutely terrifying. This one sentence is the beating heart of this entire legend. It's a warning not to acknowledge whatever it is that wanders that beach in the dark. And it's a rule that was about to be tested in the worst way imaginable. So our story kicks off not with people who believe in ghosts, but with a bunch of skeptics. We've got a group of college friends, and they're kind of bored with their usual hangouts. They wanted a real adventure. And they decided, hey, let's go challenge the stories about Dumas Beach. So this is the crew: Mayur, Kushal, Neil, Ria, and Arav. The whole trip was actually to Mayur's village, which is right near the beach. And get this, his own grandmother begged them not to go. She warned them about the spirits. But, when you're young, curiosity is a lot louder than fear. The second they got there, it was like the beach itself was trying to warn them off. The friends immediately got this feeling that this was not a normal place. The very ground they were walking on was telling a pretty dark story. The first thing that hit them was the sand. It was black. But it wasn't black because of, some cool volcanic rock. No. The real reason for the color is way, way creepier, and it's tied directly to the land's grim past. You see, this place wasn't just a beach. For hundreds of years, it was a shmashan, a cremation ground. So they weren't walking on sand. They were walking on a cemetery. The local legend says the black color comes from all the ash from countless cremations mixed into the earth. And if that wasn't enough, they got one last, super cryptic warning. They were exploring this deserted part of the beach when a local guy seemed to just appear, offered them this chilling piece of advice, and then vanished. The warnings were literally piling up, but the group just pushed forward. All right, this is the turning point. This is where everything goes wrong. As the day starts to wind down, the group makes a choice, a decision that would end up separating the skeptics from the survivors. Around 4 p.m., Neil, Ria, and Arav decided to head back. But Mayur and Kushal, they were curious about some old ruins nearby, so they decided to stay. As soon as the sun went down, it was like a switch was flipped. The happy, lively sounds of the beach just stopped. Dead silence. And when they finally tried to leave, the path was gone. They were completely trapped, just walking in circles in the dark. And then, it happened. Alone, lost, and in the pitch-black darkness of a place literally famous for being haunted, that ancient rule of Dumas Beach was about to be broken. First, Kushal hears the soft, sweet voice call his name out of the darkness. He just freezes. But then, a few moments later, Mayur hears something that must have turned his blood to ice. It was the voice of his own grandmother, the same one who had mysteriously disappeared 8 years ago and was presumed dead. See, the spirits weren't just making noises. They were being personal. They were using their most precious memories as a weapon. But the horror wasn't just what they were hearing. The air all of a sudden got thick, heavy. And then this overwhelming smell hit them. The unmistakable stench of burning wood, like a funeral pyre, but mixed with this rotten smell of decay. They frantically looked around, but there was no fire anywhere. So they panicked. They just started running, but it was like the beach itself was hunting them. Out of nowhere, a pack of snarling, aggressive dogs appeared and surrounded them. Then they saw it, a phantom funeral procession with figures carrying burning logs, chanting a Hindu funeral prayer. They tried to escape by running towards the ocean, but a giant glowing thing rose up from the waves to block their path. Somehow, they survived that night of just absolute terror. But, escaping the beach physically and escaping its grasp mentally are two very different things. The psychological scars from that night were going to stick around for good. When their friends and the police finally found them at dawn, they were passed out cold. They were completely soaked, and they were covered, head to toe, in that black sand, as if the beach itself had tried to pull them under. Both boys made it out alive, but they were never the same. Mashore, especially, was left with this deep, haunting trauma. He says the smell of those phantom funeral pyres from that night, it never really left him. It still comes back in his nightmares. Their story just became this incredibly chilling piece of evidence for the local legend. It's a grim reminder that maybe, just maybe, some warnings are there for a reason. So if you're ever on Dumas Beach after dark and you hear a voice you love call your name, just keep walking. And that's really the question this whole story leaves you with, isn't it? In that moment of pure terror and confusion, if you heard the voice of someone you'd lost, someone you miss with all your heart, could you really stop yourself from turning around?